Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1 p.m. and I am calling this meeting of the CPS Energy Board of Trustees to order. Ms. Glotzer, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we have Trustees Steen, Trustee Gonzalez, Mayor Jones, Vice Chair Dr. Mackey, and yourself, Chair Romero. All trustees are present. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Two announcements today. Ms. Glotzer will be serving as our Chief Legal Counsel and Board Secretary today. And our CEO, Rudy Garza, was unavoidably detained in travel, and Ms. Elena Ball, our Chief Strategy Officer, will serve in his place today. Thanks to both of you. All right, Mr. Jimmy Stinnett for our safety message, invocation, and pledge of allegiance.
There you go. Okay, for the evacuation procedure, I'll review the evacuation procedure so that we can be prepared to be safe in the event of an emergency. If you hear a fire alarm, follow the instructions announced through the PA system. If asked to evacuate, use the glass doors to exit outside and verbally alert others. We'll move to the main parking lot in front of the building or at the AT&T parking lot at the McCullough and Brooklyn Bridge. Our security team will be watching. We'll notify the appropriate emergency services. Lastly, we'll also have the employee nearby who will be trained to administer any first aid needed. Safety is the top priority, and while we hope this information is never needed, we want to be sure that we're prepared for this. Additionally, we will ask you to remain seated during the duration of the meeting, keep aisles clear, and do not block the exits. If you'll please stand for the invocation. We thank you for the many blessings you have freely given to each of us. We ask for your presence and guide the meeting of the CPS Board of Trustees. Provide them with the knowledge, compassion, and counsel that they discuss in the business matters of today's agenda. Help us remember that we are stewards acting on behalf of the customers, and provide us with the grace to serve all people well. We ask this in your name. Amen. Now, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As I am the manager of damage prevention for our gas business unit, one of my main responsibilities is sharing community with safety messages. Today, I'd like to start with before the agenda. We want to take a moment to reinforce that the underpins of everything that we do at CPS Energy is the safety of our community. With over 6,000 miles of natural gas pipeline services, serving the 389,000 customers across the region, our responsibility is significant. Whether it is our employees maintaining the infrastructure or our customers using the energy we supply, safety is the most essential part of the equation. With this in mind, we would like to share a few reminders. Call 811 before you dig. This helps prevent accidents and saves lives. The leading cause of pipeline damages is failure to call 811. Understanding how to recognize and respond to a gas leak is essential in keeping our community safe. An easy way to do this is to remember the 3 R's: recognize, react, and respond. First one is to recognize the signs of a gas leak is the rotten egg smell, hissing sounds, bubbling in the water, and dry vegetation in the area. These are the most common indicators. The second one is to react immediately and leave the area if you suspect a leak. Last one was to report a leak to 911 and CPS Energy emergency number 210-353-HELP and 210-353-4357. At CPS Energy, we've invested in technologies like Gaston, our smart sniffer vehicle This inspects the lines to detect leaks proactively, but technology alone doesn't keep people safe. It takes all of us working together. So if we will continue our efforts in communicating, educating, and community engagements, all of this will be essential. Thank you for your time and commitment to safety.
Thank you, Mr. Stinnett. We will now move to public comment. Ms. Gomez?
Public comment provides an opportunity for members of the public to share thoughts on posted agenda items for this meeting. We invite pre-registered speakers to speak. They may only address the board on CPS Energy related business posted on the agenda. Speakers should state their first and last name, the organization or group that they represent, and the agenda item they will speak about. For this meeting, we have 11 in-person speakers. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak. At the conclusion of the 2 minutes, the screen will flash red. Thomas, will you please cue the timer? Our first speaker is Henrietta LaGrange, followed by Brian Lopez, who has 2 individuals also ceding their time.
Good afternoon. My name is Henrietta LaGrange, and it's a wonderful day, Miss Gina. I love seeing you here, Francine. And there, this beautiful woman is Janie Gonzalez. And Miss Ball, I'm proud of you. And you all know I belong to LULAC. I belong to Raza Unida, Mulberry Street Girl Gang. I have to say that because one of the members says, I like it when you say you belong to the Mulberry Street Girl Gang, and also Growing Up Brown. It's a great opportunity today to be here. And let me tell you, my dog Felipe is very happy because he can walk into the CPS building on Castroville Road and go pay his electric bill. He has permission to go in, so he is happy. Also, the reason that I'm here is to highlight your people that are the CRU unit. They rock. They are the backbone of CPS Energy, and they know who I am because I frequent there. I frequent them. I run into a lot of people that are in difficult situations, and they're always there. And that is the best part because, and they know, I guess they all know my phone number, but that's the great part of it. And also what I wanted to let you know is these are face masks and they are fabric, and I have 10,000 packages. I've got 2 cases with me, and if the CRE unit or any of you are in public meetings, I would like to donate them, and I have more, but I brought 2 cases to be on the safe side in case. So if you're in a senior center or something, I know the seniors will appreciate it because they can wash them and reuse them again. And again, thank you for allowing me to be here. I love being here. So don't close the doors on me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. LaGrange.
Thank you for your input. Next, we have Brian Lopez, who also has time ceded by Didi Balmaras and Erica Alvarado. So please queue for 6 minutes. And following him will be Theodore Solansky.
Good afternoon, CPS board members. My name is Brian Lopez, a longtime San Antonio resident and organizer of San Antonio Workers Assembly and member of the Climate Justice San Antonio Coalition. Unfortunately, my comment today was going to be primarily addressed to CEO Rudy Garza, who is not here. So I will save that for next month, but I will go ahead and remind you guys that we are going to continue to come to these meetings, and we're going to continue to fight for the working class people of this city who deserve to have the disconnection stopped, to stop future rate increases, and for this organization to treat them with humanity, dignity, and respect.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you. Is Mr. Slansky present? Okay, so next up is Dawn Benitez, who also has time ceded by Robin Lott. So that will be 4 minutes on the clock. And after her will be Mary Johnson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patty Benitez. I spoke last month at this meeting, but I'll reintroduce myself. I'm a native San Antonian. I graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School, attended SAC, UTSA, and Our Lady of the Lake. I have a BBA, an MBA, and a PhD. I am also a 2014 retiree from CPS Energy, and I'm over 65. And I had 32 years, 8 months, and 23 days of service. I am speaking again since there have been no changes since last month in the status of CPS dropping our insurance. This month, I will ask a few follow-on questions and ask for additional clarification. Retirees still do not have the specifics of the new plan. The summary information we were provided has a disclaimer that CPS can make any changes to the document at any time. I don't know about some people, but that does not make me feel secure with the proposed changes. Also, in the briefing I attended, CPS mentioned the trust is fine. It is not going anyplace. You are going to love this. That statement did not fill me with trust. With CPS dropping retiree insurance, retirees will now be required to pay our premiums for the supplement directly to AmWinds and not through payroll deduction into the trust. This is one of the areas that bothers me the most. Once retirees no longer contribute to the trust, we will no longer be under the plan, and there will be no requirement for CPS to continue to fund our insurance, even though we have paid the most into the trust. It is my understanding that CPS will continue to subsidize our insurance through the trust at least for 2026. However, what assurance do we have that that funding will continue? None. I would like written confirmation that the trust will continue to be used to fund insurance for retirees over 65. But however, speaking of written confirmation, many retirees have signed documents by previous general managers or CEOs, which is just a title change only, that those employees would be a part of the active employee plan and pay only the employee rate for life. Ms. Henrich read her document verbatim at last month's board meeting. Those signed documents are being totally ignored. If a written document signed by the CEO of CPS Energy can be ignored, it makes me wonder that any written document will be honored. Also, the rush of this project and the lack of information on this change leads me to believe the entire change is suspect. One other item that is egregious is the apparent lack of analysis and the approval process for making this major change that impacts so many elderly. I suggest that time be allowed for analysis and allow retirees to have the option to continue with the current CPS insurance plans A or B or to change to the new plans. It has been mentioned that the new system won't allow this option. However, I have worked on many technical projects over the years, and a system can be configured to allow options. In other words, the system will do what you tell it to do. I strongly believe this major change as presented should be halted and the well-being of retirees should be considered. Mr. Ken Hars, who is a retired former assistant general manager for administration who had significant input into the current plan, provided a letter which I have given and will be handed out to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benitez.
And I'm in possession of that letter, and I will provide it to the board. Next, we have Ms. Mary Johnson, followed by Isabel Hernandez.
Madam Chair, Mayor, board members, you know, by the time I started employment at CPS in 1982 as an internal auditor, the pension trust had been established for our benefit. There were 3 other employee-related plans that our management used the legal instrument as a trust to protect the employees. And now with the changes in the medical plan, a lot of employees are concerned that a lot of the provisions of the trust have not been complied with. So we're asking the board that before you approve anything, that you review the provisions of the trust and make sure that there's no legal breach of contract, or that the provisions of the trust be adhered to. I don't know if if the retirees that are seeking legal representation have so far gotten the provisions of the trust to make sure everything is in order. But a lot of employees and retired employees feel that the communication from management has not been adequate to let us know about these kinds of things. And many retirees feel like, as a protected class, according to the definition of EEO, that the retirees aren't all being treated the same, because this is only affecting the retirees that are 65 and over and not all of the retirees. So we ask that before you approve, that you regard the provisions of the trust to make sure they're being honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Following, we have Isabel Hernandez and Evelyn Michalik, who's ceding her time to Ms. Hernandez. And then our last speaker will be Mr. Gilbert, Mr. Michael Gilbert.
Good afternoon, Chair, Mayor, and Board of Trustees. My name is Isabel G. Hernandez. I was born and raised in San Antonio. I live in the Northeast Quadrant. I am a CPS Energy retiree with 29 years of service and a customer of the company with over 30 years. I will speak on item 6B, 6C, and 6D. 6B and C are the minutes. Minutes from June 10th, June special board meeting, and minutes from June regular board meeting. The minutes covering the public comments made by Ms. Patricia Major, Mr. Theodore Slansky, and Mr. Daniel Perez on June 10th, 2025, as well as the minutes covering the public comments made on June 30th, 2025 by Ms. Dawn Patty Benitez, Ms. Patricia Major, and Ms. Deborah Henrich, not Ms. Freddie Jean Satcher, are inaccurately summarized and recorded. When comparing the respective meeting video to the minutes recorded, key points of concern by each public speaker were not captured. The information is crucial for reference purposes and to understand what was presented by each public speaker. Please review the respective meeting video to capture each respective public speaker's key points. Why have you not responded to CPS Energy Medicare retirees' health plan concerns? And when will you address our concerns? Item 6D, manage staffing services through Broadleaf Results Incorporated. What is being outsourced and why? Are there any staff employees or just management? Why does the scope and objectives of the procurement require 3 years at $30 million per year? Who is monitoring the contract over the 3-year term? Does the contract include a clause for the company to audit the contractor? I would appreciate a response to my comments. I thank you for the opportunity to speak and your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you. Our final speaker will be Michael Gilbert.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Gilbert. I'm not a very good speaker, so bear with me. Thank y'all for listening to me. I'm going to speak about this new insurance also. I retired in 2014 after 27 years, 4-month service. My education stopped at high school. Got a lot of education from CPS, a NERC and FERC certified and such not. And I thought I'd never have to learn another acronym. Now I got a new one, AMWIN. I'd like to forget about it as soon as I can. I went to the meeting July 1, and I left upset and actually pissed off, excuse my phrase, but not happy at all. I was told by a CPS representative and by several people, man, that this is better for me because I'm overinsured. Pays nothing on these. It's about $5,000 every 3 years. Our current insurance helps with that. When I retired in 2014, I read that retirement book that I took out of that office today, and my insurance cost was based on my years of service. And then when my wife retired, I kept the CPS insurance, of course. We let hers go because we have insurance. We have Medicare and we have insurance. We don't have a supplemental plan. Our insurance, or the insurance we currently have, covers things Medicare doesn't. So I'm going to have two. I'm going to have another supplement plan that's going to follow Medicare guidelines. That does us no good. Does us no good whatsoever. Also, my rates are going to go up. My rate right now is based on years of service, as in every person in here that has that insurance. But yet we're going to get the same rate as somebody that don't put in 25 years service. And I was informed by CPS management that benefit went away at age 65. They didn't sign no paper on that on my retirement.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
I'll be around if there's any questions.
That was our final speaker.
All right. Thank you again to all of our speakers today. Know that we are listening to all that you say. We are moving on to item 4, which is my chair remarks. Just want to highlight a few items this time. First of all, I want to talk about the assistance finder. CPS Energy has created the assistance finder on our main page. This is a tool that makes it easier for customers to find and apply for bill assistance, because with the assistance finder, customers no longer need to complete separate forms for each program. Instead, a single application makes it easier for households to access valuable support. We are just finishing the first year of operation for the assistance finder, and nearly 29,000 customers have used this tool. It evaluates applicants for several programs, including the Affordability Discount Program, Residential Energy Assistance Partnership, or REAP, Casa Verde, the Senior Citizen Late Fee Waiver, and the Budget Payment Plan. Information about the assistance finder is on the screen, and you can always call an energy advisor at 210-353-2222 or stop by one of our customer service centers. Second, we have now started a pay by text option, providing a convenient way for customers to pay their energy bill through a text. This secure and mobile-friendly service is designed to make bill payment faster and more convenient, allow customers to manage their accounts on the go. You will enroll in pay by text, if you choose to, by going to the Manage My Account page. You'll be guided through a few simple steps. You will register the card that you will be using for these payments. And once you are enrolled in the service, you will receive a payment reminder text 5 days before your bill is due, and you can complete your payment directly from that message. Unfortunately, on the other side, as CPS expands its digital payment options, customers are reminded to stay vigilant against fraud and scams. CPS Energy will never call to demand immediate payment or threaten same-day service disconnection. Additionally, CPS does not request banking or credit card information over the phone. And very important, because people go crazy with this, we will not ask customers to purchase gift cards or debit cards for payment. There are some helpful tips on the screen to help identify and avoid scams. Once again, we want to announce our Board of Trustees vacancy. We are in the process of seeking applicants to fill the upcoming vacancy in the Northeast Quadrant. The selected candidate will fill the seat currently held by Mr. Steen, whose term ends in January of 2026. This board will select a trustee by majority vote. That nominee must then be considered and confirmed by City Council. Applicants may submit applications either online, via email, traditional mail, or by hand delivering a hard copy to the headquarters right here. We will be holding a second information session, and we encourage interested applicants to attend in person. That will be on August 12th at noon here at CPS Energy headquarters at 500 McCullough. There is plenty of free parking outside. Those sessions, however, will also be live streamed, and a recording will also be available online for those who cannot attend in person. This is an opportunity to serve your community, and we hope to see you on August 12th to learn more. And finally, I got to start my day today by attending the presentations of 3 of our interns. And I know we will be recognizing interns today. I saw Kehlani, Kiana, and Evan present on what they had done this summer in their internship. And it was just so wonderful. It made me really optimistic about the future of our world and CPS Energy. So kudos to them. I know everybody's doing their presentations and they're all going to be wonderful. These were the ones I saw today. So kudos to them, their mentors at CPS, their family, and their support network. So we had 50 interns this summer, and they are placed in a variety of teams and departments. Summer internships run from June through August, and of our 50 interns, 5 will continue their careers with CPS Energy, and 13 have an extension of their internship into the fall. And I know many of those hope to then become employed with CPS Energy. So kudos to all of you who make this happen. I know, like I said this before, it is not easy to run an internship program. There are so many details, but the rewards of this are wonderful. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Ball for the CEO recognition and remarks.
Thank you. Yes. And today we would like to recognize the efforts of our 50 mentors as well, 50 interns as well as their mentors. As the interns come in, just want to echo our chair's remarks. We couldn't be happier with the work that these great interns accomplish for us across every aspect of our business, from gas to power generation, our transmission distribution business, as well as all of the important support functions that we have here at CPS Energy. So recruiting and developing interns is not only key to our business and tied to our Vision 2027 work, but this is our future workforce. This is our future team. So we just want to thank everyone who participated in the intern program. For young aspiring people who might be listening, we encourage you to apply to our internship program. We always have that available on our website, and we are looking throughout the year for interns. So with that, just want to thank everyone for their effort, and we'll work to get everyone in here so we can get a group photo. Thank you.
If you can't see Vincent and his camera can't see you. Thank you all so much. We are very proud of you, and we hope you all continue here in some way. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out to the rodeo team that competed.
you don't mind, it's up to you.
As they are exiting, Trustee Gonzalez wanted to say a few other words, kudos, and we'll get back to you, Ms. Ball.
One of my favorite activities besides Grills Giving is the rodeo competition. And so I want to give a shout out to the team. I didn't get to go this year. I just sent a daughter to camp, but congratulations. It's just another great example of the CPS family coming together and competing and again, being one of the best throughout Texas. So shout out to y'all and congratulations.
And I know we will be recognizing them in the near future as well. Ms. Ball, your comments more?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just a preview of today's agenda. We have 3 procurement items that we will be putting forward the board for consideration. And then we have 2 presentations from team members. One is related to our ERP transformation program, which is our digital transformation, updating our systems and helping bring us forward into the latest technology. And then we also have a presentation relative to a very important transmission routing and siting activity for projects that are key to not only the city of San Antonio and our region's reliability, but that of the state. And so with that, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. We will now move to item 6, the consent agenda, and I will ask in a second if any board members want to pull anything from the consent agenda. But Ms. Glotzer, based on what Ms. Hernandez said, do we need to review the minutes from the June regular board meeting on June 30th just to make sure speakers are correctly identified?
We can do that if you would like, yes.
I think the question is not the speaker, the question is context.
I think it was both. And so I would like to just give us some room to consider that. So I am going to pull that item and not vote on that today.
And just to be clear, we're going to pull the June 30th minutes just to check for to make sure
Correct.
the list of names of CPS retirees is correct.
Yes. And we'll review that at the August board meeting then. Does anybody else want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
I don't think I want to pull, but it might be something that I missed in the June board meeting. I could be wrong. I didn't realize the June 2025 city payment fell short by 3.3 million. Is that correct? And I don't know if we need to pull it. I just really have a question.
Corey.
Grace
yeah.
walking up.
Unless I read it wrong. I went back and reviewed notes. So I don't know, Madam Chair, I'm sorry for interrupting, but did I misread it?
Yeah, no, there's no shortage of city payment. Every now and then there's what you call a
It's just a timing?
yeah, timing.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Dr. Morrow.
I was going to pull the June 30th minutes, and I've got comments on them, so I could wait to the next meeting, but also it crossed my mind that perhaps if I gave those comments today, it could be considered when they look again at the June 30th meeting.
Is this for something that was reported erroneously in the minutes?
No.
Okay, then I think we should hold it until we actually vote on them. Because we're not considering it today, so we can't be discussing it, and that would bring it into the realm of discussing it. I'm pulling it off the agenda. Okay, I'm not hearing anything else. So the floor is open for a motion on the consent agenda minus items 6C.
Motion. Whenever you're ready to vote. Go ahead and motion to vote or approve the minutes well, not to approve the minutes, but to approve the consent agenda minus item C.
Yes. Is there a second?
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chair Dr. Mackey? Trustee Steen?
Yes.
Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Chair Romero?
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved.
Thank you. We will now move to the regular agenda item 7, board committee reports. These are included in our packet. Does anybody have any discussion on the board committee reports?
Discussion or on the minutes? Can I get a clarifying question, Chair? Is there discussion in the board meetings or just in the minutes or in general?
We are not voting to approve the minutes. We are just voting to approve the reports.
Okay.
The committees approve their own minutes. So you could, that would be in the committee level. I did want to say something about the Community Input Committee because I want the people who serve on Community Input Committee, I want them to understand how much we appreciate them. And I know they're looking at their bylaws, and their bylaws as of yet did not require a liaison from this board. That's something we might consider in the future, but I think it's important that we do ensure bi-directional communication with them. I don't want our members who are putting in a lot of time and effort into this to feel that they're speaking into a vacuum. So this is important to me. I did attend that last meeting, and I do intend to attend their next meeting in October. So if y'all are listening, we value you, and I am listening to concerns and issues that you will be bringing up. Anything else on item 7? All right, we will move to item 8, Evolve ERP Transformation Program with Mr. Evan O'Mahony.
And as Evan's coming up, I did want to provide a few opening comments. This is the update that we were providing you today is the most recent update. The last time we were together was in January. Evan and his team have been very effectively leading this program. Our schedule, our scope, our budget, and our quality are all on track. We're now in global design, which that's a fancy word for meaning we're building our blueprint for how the system is going to work on our behalf in the future. And he and the team have led over 176 workshops with over 500 subject matter experts within the organization. So just want to first give a quick shout out to Evan and his whole team for the very capable job they're doing leading this very massive transformation for our organization.
Thank you, Elena. Good afternoon, Chair Romero and trustees. As was just shared today, I'll be providing an update on our Evolve Enterprise Resource Planning Program. Today's focus will largely be focused on the work that we've done around our global design phase. As Ms. Ball just mentioned, I am pleased to share that the program does remain on schedule with all of our established plans up to this date. And this is the first of our biannual updates that we'll be providing the board, which we committed to following your approval of all of the necessary procurement activities that allowed this program to move into execution. Just as a reminder, our ERP program is a significant component of our overarching digital strategy, which is called Evolve. We have identified a key set of outcomes that we hope to achieve as a result of our digital transformation, and you can see them listed here. But they're really all focused on improving experiences for not only our workforce, but also our customers. It's also important to note as we think about our digital strategy that it is very much anchored to our short and long-term enterprise strategies through both Vision 2027 as well as Horizon 2050. I know in past updates, I've reminded the board on all of the progress that has gone into this program really over the last 5 years now, so I won't belabor this slide too much. But I do want to point out that we've accomplished a lot. While this program was initially started because of the complexity and legacy nature of our technology ecosystem, we really use that as a catalyst to think more strategically about how we can drive change for the organization and for our customers. We captured quite a bit of input, both externally through various independent advisors, but also internally with various members of our workforce. And that allowed us to develop our comprehensive strategy in building out our vendor ecosystem, which we completed earlier this year. And here you can really see the value of our one team on full display. So, a large technology program of this nature is something that we can't do alone. And I'm really proud of the group of partners that we've put together over a multi-year evaluation process and with the support of this board. As a reminder, we selected Oracle as our new technology solution. Following that, Accenture was selected as our implementation partner. And then Gartner was also selected earlier this year as our independent validation and verification partner. All of those teams are fully assembled and are actively working with our internal CPS Energy team members to move this program forward. I also do want to call out our various subcontractor partners. Bridgewater Consulting Group, Veracity, and SmartBridge are all fully engaged on our transformation program and are bringing their experiences to the table as well to work in concert with our internal team members. So I shared our initial ERP implementation roadmap earlier this year. I just want to remind the board how we have this phased out. The first significant component is global design, which we are over halfway through, and you can see that depicted here. And then we've laid out an initial implementation plan that includes 3 releases. The first release is primarily focused on our back office operations, so finance, HR, supply chain. Our second release is primarily focused on customer, and then our final release is focused on enterprise asset management. Now, it's important to note that incorporated in all 3 of these releases is field services. So that is how our field crews and our frontline workforce are able to receive and execute their critical work each and every day. We have various components of that spread out here. Now, again, I do want to preface that this is our initial draft release schedule that will continue to be refined as we complete all of our global design activities. So I wanted to click in a little bit to those releases and expand in a bit more detail around how each release is translating to tangible outcomes or benefits for our workforce and our customers. So here you can see not an exhaustive list, but just some insight into the types of things that we expect to see and achieve as an organization as we go through these. So in release 1, we're very focused internally. I mentioned a lot of the back office operation functionality here. So we expect to things like enhanced self-service for our employees and our management team. Also, strengthening core services in our organization like supply chain, which directly supports procurement and contract management efforts. Our second release, as I mentioned, is very much externally focused from a customer perspective. And we really look at this as allowing us to lay the foundation for creating new future products and services that, as we've briefed the board on previously, our current aging technology just doesn't give us the functionality necessary to provide different options to our customers. So once we get this second release across the finish line, we'll be able to start focusing on how we can deliver many of those new capabilities. We'll also be able to provide enhanced experiences for our energy advisors that really are the front line of our workforce that are interacting and engaging with our customers each and every day to make it easier for them to have real-time access to the information they need to help our customers as timely as possible. And then the third release, very much focused on enterprise asset management. So how can we further optimize our field operations or enhance our predictive maintenance schedules? A lot of those capabilities will be delivered in that third release. So as we look to move into execution, which again started with global design, we had a kickoff program that we held on April 8th of this year. I do want to thank Chair Romero as well as Trustee Gonzalez for attending that kickoff event. We had over 400 members of our workforce in attendance, as well as representation from many of our key partners in the program. Our main objective for this kickoff was really to preview the year ahead and really focus on what our team members can expect as we were to move into the global design phase. So this was a great opportunity to really celebrate a lot of the success up to this point and really build momentum as we began to roll up our sleeves and move into program execution. So what is global design? So again, this has been our focus for this year. And global design is really laying the foundation for our future. So you heard Ms. Ball mention in her opening comments some of the kind of tangible work that has happened, and I'll click into that here in a minute. But really, a good way to think about global design is validating how we want the technology to work for us in the future. We've gone through a number of workshops that will continue over the next few months to really finalize those requirements. We're looking at both our current and our future state business processes, really trying to ensure that we have a solid understanding, again, of how we want the technology to work for us in the future. So how are we doing all of that work? Well, again, we're staying true to our objectives that started very early on in the program, which is to engage our organization broadly to ensure that we were capturing feedback from our employees and those that are really the closest to doing the critical work each and every day. Here you can see some stats. One thing I do want to point out, because I believe strongly it is a key component of the success within our program, is that we've moved over 40 individuals from across the organization into the program on a full-time dedicated basis. We refer to those individuals as our capability group leads and capability track leads. And those team members brought experience cross-functionally from across the organization and have embedded that directly into the program. They're not only bringing their expertise, but they're really helping to drive a lot of the coordination with subject matter experts from across the domain areas which they came from. We are supporting that team with subject matter experts from across the organization. We have engaged over 500 individuals just in the global design phase. So we had some very large numbers when we were doing our planning work, and we've continued to do that. And global design includes over 300 workshops, which we are working diligently through. And here you can see a result of all of the cross-functional collaboration and engagement that has taken place through the month of June. So we have completed 176 workshops. On the right-hand side here, you can see the progress that we've made by key capability area. It's important to note some of the work sessions by capability started sooner than others. So as an example, customer started right out of the gate in April. Work and asset management started a bit later, all by design, but you can see how all of these are tracking and moving forward. In total, as I mentioned, 587 individuals. Those are our core dedicated program team members, as well as SMEs from across the organization. One of the key things that the team has been focused on are what are referred to as key design decisions. Those are some foundational decisions that we need to make that will help inform how we configure the new technology solutions over the multi-year period across all of our planned releases. And this next point is extremely important, which is really the change component. So through these workshops, we're not only talking about how we're doing work today, what the capabilities are for the technology that we will be implementing. We're thinking through how we want the processes to work in the future, leveraging a lot of those best practices. But along the way, we're documenting where we identify any change from how we're operating today. So this is a key component because, as we've talked about in previous updates, the success of this really lies in our ability to effectively implement, which is really all around our ability to ensure that the organization and our stakeholders are prepared for the change that comes along with this. It's important to note as we think about our approach to change management that this is just not about our workforce, our internal employees. They are a key stakeholder group, and we have a number of targeted change activities that are aimed to ensure that they are prepared to fully leverage the new technology and our new ways of working. But this will also impact our customers. As a reminder, this technology will include all of our customer billing, how we are able to set up our rates, our ability to present our customers with new products and services. So with that, we need to ensure that our customers are also prepared for the change that comes along with us implementing this new technology. So they are a key stakeholder group that we're thinking of. And then, of course, we have many other partners, and partners can take the form of our vendor partners, that we engage through our supply chain processes, but our community partners, such as new developers that are building neighborhoods and need to engage with us to build out our services as well. So we're thinking about change very broadly, again, not only internally within the organization, but externally as well. One of the other key components of this program that we've spoken with the board at length about is our IV&V, or independent validation and verification effort. As a reminder, this is an independent third party that we have contracted with. The firm that we selected and the board approved earlier this year was Gartner to do that work. They are working in partnership with the program to provide independent oversight. So they're looking at how the program team is operating, how our various vendors and partners that are helping us execute are operating, with the goal of identifying risks early and often so we can effectively mitigate them as quickly as possible before they turn into maybe a more significant challenge down the road. I'm really pleased with the work that Gartner has done to date. The week ending July 11th, they had identified 18 risks. We work collaboratively and cross-functionally across the program team and the organization broadly to close out those items. So we had closed out 7 of the 18, leaving 11 of them open. And this is an iterative process. So the teams are meeting multiple times a week. Gartner identifies, key areas of focus or recommendations. And as I mentioned, we work collaboratively to work through those things based on their observations. One thing I also want to point out is, in addition to identifying risks, they're also identifying bright spots. So calling out things that are going really well in the program, which really helps to complement the work that they're doing. So we're able to focus on those opportunities for improvement, as well as continue to celebrate success as the program continues to execute. So in closing, our ERP program is executing according to our plan. We remain within scope, on schedule, within our established budget, and quality continues to be at the forefront to ensure that we are executing this program with excellence. And with that, I welcome any questions from the board.
Thank you, Mr. O'Mahony. And I just wanted to say, your presentations and updates to us are a really important part of the process. So kudos to you and for your team for putting all this information together. It's easy to understand
Thank you.
incredibly the way you put it all together.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we will open it up on the left side here for questions.
Yes, I have a question, and I know I work with you a lot on this. So I know we're still in the global design phase. So this is, in my opinion, one of the easier phases. So that, with that being said, and I know we didn't discuss them now, but in most cases, regardless of phase, there's usually some performance metrics that we evaluate. Do we have any established for this phase?
So right now in the global design phase, we're tracking to, number of workshops,
So those are
making
your,
sure that
yeah.
the schedule, more the traditional project management components. A key area of focus as part of global design, though, is identifying metrics around value realization as we start going live with the releases. So as we come out of global design, once we have a handle on our future state processes, we'll actually be putting pen to paper to understand, hey, what are the expected benefits that we expect to achieve as a result of the new processes?
Okay, follow on, again, I'm really big on customer experience and process efficiencies to be considered for performance metrics. And then I know for this phase, you already presented, because I was going to ask that questions about risk identified. My last one, and I think we've had this discussion on and off for 5 years, is, and I know we're still in early stages, is again, with this big digital transformation, there's always the consideration of what are we planning to reskill employees that may be impacted with automation or even AI today. So just things for you to consider. I think for the most part, you and I cover a lot of these items. So just maybe for the future presentation, if you can present KPIs for each phase. And then hopefully we can start having some early conversations on upskilling and just to make sure that part of this digital business transformation effort, which is fairly large in scope, that we consider, again, skill impact. So those are all my questions. Thank you, Chair.
Vice Chair? Question?
Yes. Oh, you want? I'm looking at on page 24, the financial summary on page 24. The budget was it 304 or 346?
304 is the program budget. That larger number, 346, is the Evolve Digital Transformation holistically. So
Okay.
304 of the
And
346.
at this time, we spent 41 million
Correct. That was as April 30th.
as April 30th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about the primaries on this, the Accenture, Gardner, and Oracle. Did they have any partners in this right there? And if they did, if I can recall, that the chairman at the time said that we were going to get a report on the spent for for them? Maybe I missed it, but I haven't recalled ever seeing that.
So to answer the first part of your question, sir, yes, we do have three subcontractors. As a reminder for both, well, for Accenture, they have a 20% subcontracting
Correct.
requirement. Their two subcontractors are Bridgewater Consulting Group and Veracity. There is active spend with both of those subcontractors. We have not yet distributed a report, but we can certainly do that, and I'll take that as an action item.
Okay, good, because I thought that's what the chairman said at the time, that you were going to present it to us. I don't know if it's quarterly or, or monthly or what. I don't know. But could you let me know about that?
Yes, sir.
that
Will do
point?
so.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Steen?
So, Mr. O'Mahony, I appreciate your presentation today, and I'm impressed with your progress to date. If somebody would put up slide 4 entitled Our Transformation Journey, and that left rectangle is entitled Drivers for Change. And I just want to zero in on the first and last bullet points. The first recounts that our SAP or ERP technology platform was implemented in 2001. So though it's hard to fathom, that means our current ERP system is a quarter of a century old. It's kind of amazing. The last bullet point states that our current core system end of standard vendor support occurs in 2027. Is it accurate to say that our current vendor is going to walk away from us in around 2 years? Is that a way to?
So we do anticipate, sir, that there will be options for extended support. The current vendor has not announced that yet. However, they do have third-party partners that have already indicated that they are planning to offer extended support for organizations that may require it. So hasn't been announced formally, but we do anticipate extended support options.
But as we stand here today, do they give you a date? They're saying we're gone after this.
This version the version we're running will no longer be supported, standard support, December 31st, 2027.
27, okay. Right, and I noticed right at the bottom of that same rectangle, it's in tiny print, but it says extended support options to be determined, and that's what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then just something I wanted to point out is if you would put up slide 6, which is entitled ERP Implementation Roadmap, fiscal year 2026 through fiscal year 2029 planned. And of course, that red flag and the dotted vertical line indicate where we are today in the middle of fiscal year 2026. So it also shows in the lower right-hand corner that Release 3, which includes Enterprise Asset Management and Field Services Advanced, is not going live, and correct me if any of this is wrong, until the beginning of fiscal year 2029.
Actually, the end of fiscal year 28.
All right. Okay, the end of fiscal year 20, which is basically, well,
which is calendar 2027. So this release plan, Trustee Steen, is built to get us off of the legacy platform by the December 31st, 2027 calendar date.
All right, it's a little bit difficult to glean all of this, but that's what I was getting at, whether there was going to be any kind of a gap there. And then, of course, that's what you were talking about, extended support options to be determined. But you're saying a third party can come in and do that for us?
Yes. There are third-party support vendors actually available today that can provide extended support if necessary. But I do want to reiterate that our current release plan would have us off of the legacy, off of our current system by that end of standard support date. But we are continuing to evaluate contingency plans should they be required if there are any delays.
All right, thanks for that explanation. If you put up slide 24, entitled Evolve Financial Summary as of April 30th, 2025. And while I support this ERP transformation as something CPS Energy must undertake, I've also continued to express my concerns about CPS Energy's overall financial health. And, this is along the same line as what Dr. Mackey was asking about. So you focus on that rectangle on the left entitled Total Spend to Date versus Plan, and you indicate that the plan is to spend about $304 million on this ERP transformation project. You've confirmed that. But you've also talked about spending an additional $42 million, and you label it as Evolve Other Initiatives. And what does that consist of?
So again, anything under the Evolve umbrella is tied back to those outcomes that I mentioned in the early slide, those 8 outcomes. So a lot of the work that we're doing from a customer experience perspective relative to our website, providing improved usage information to our customers, the new payment options that that the chair spoke about, and the chair remarks at the beginning of our meeting today are all examples of other digital initiatives that we're investing in to improve experiences either for our customers or our workforce.
Is that a pretty hard number, that $42 million, or?
It's supported by a multi-year budget with identified initiatives like redesign work to our website, improving our data and analytics capabilities. So it is supported by a set of digital initiatives.
I've asked about this before, but could you provide me with that? I would like to see what that $42 million is being spent on.
We can give insight into what makes up that budget, yes, sir.
Good. Then you all have talked about it. Ms. Ball mentioned it, and you've mentioned it, and it is good to know that as of today, and it's part of your presentation, that your transformation project is in good shape, and I like that it's that you have it in your presentation. Scope, schedule, budget, and quality are on track. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Another comment?
Just, he did remind me, it was I forgot, I've been on vacation from no longer being chairwoman, so I forget a lot of the things I actually did and said. But thank you, Dr. Mackey, for reminding me. We also did request, during that time, I did ask a question about community giving back. I believe it was Accenture who committed, I suggested workforce initiatives as well as STEM scholarships. So if you could also ask Accenture or anybody who committed to giving back to the community to also give us an update on that. So thank you, Dr. Mackey, for reminding me.
Just to plug, Lisa and I have already had a number of meetings with Accenture about their internship program and where we have opportunities for
Good.
collaboration. So we'll.
Yeah, and I think for me, the important part was, I know at the time, I know it's being revamped or potentially will be revamped, the ready to workforce essay. I think that was also a potential focus for, again, investing or opportunities for interns, cross-pollination, since it's already a city initiative. But again, thank you, both of you, and just send the information to everyone.
All right, thank you. I see 3 action items coming out of this, one from each of the trustees except for me. All right, that item was just for discussion, no vote. So thank you again, Mr. O'Mahony. Appreciate it. And we are moving on to item 9, Howard to San Miguel Routing and Siting Project with Mr. Richard Medina.
And as Richard's coming up, I just want to reiterate, this item is really tied to resiliency and reliability, not only of the CPS Energy system, but that of the state of Texas, and is supported by electric system growth as well as reliability. And just as a friendly reminder to those of you who are listening, the project itself is slated to be approximately $175 million. It is part of our transmission cost of service recovery mechanism through the state of Texas, of which we bear our load share ratio percentage, but the majority of the cost is picked up through the state of Texas. Right now, our load ratio share is between 6 and 7% as a load serving entity. Yes, sir. And we can get you the specific number. It varies year to year.
All right, good afternoon. So today I'll be covering our transmission project, Howard to San Miguel. It's a routing and siting project. I'll cover the project overview, public involvement. The PUC Commission did approve this project, so it went through the PUC process and the approved route was selected by the PUC. And then we're taking board action today, so we'll be looking for a vote. Like Elena mentioned, you can see the boxes there on the bottom there. It talks about reliability. So this is a reliability project for the state of Texas. It supports also, remember, At the previous board meetings, we talked about the Spruce to Pawnee project, which is another transmission project. So this provides additional reliability support for that project. It also supports system growth. You know, we have a lot of large loads that are entering our territory here. So this will allow power to flow from south to our San Antonio area. And then, of course, like Elena mentioned, this is also T-cost reimbursable. So there's the graphic on the right there. You can see the blue box. So our teams, what they do is they go through and they look at all the routes that can be provided to meet this project need. And so there was 36 routes selected. And so what happens is then we go through a process of identifying all the landowners, and we work with our partner, which is STEC, and they're gonna build half of the transmission line. We're gonna build the other half of the line. And so that's the project. The target date is to have this in by June 2027. So this next slide is really about the public involvement. So there was 2,700 letters that were sent out, invites, 192 attendees attended the 2 open houses. And then we have a lot of information on our website. So we have a website on all our transmission projects. There's a brochure in Spanish and English, and it covers the details of this project. So then this project then went to the PUC. The PUC did listen to interveners. There was about 50 interveners on this project. They did select Route Y modified. And what that means is there was a Route Y, and they made a modification to that route with based on the feedback. This project is $175 million. Our portion of the line is 24.5 miles. STEC will build the other 24.5 miles. So at this time, I'll be seeking board approval to proceed with the PUC selected route, which is Y modified, and then also to execute the planning, easement, procurement, and construction of this project.
All right, thank you. We'll start with questions. I'll start on the right, Mr. Steen.
Well, and thank you, Mr. Medina, for your presentation and for your good work on this. I'd like to put up slide 2, which is entitled Agenda. And you touched on this, but I think it's important for our listeners to understand this. So that you've got the 3 rectangles there. The one on the right is labeled T-cost reimbursement.
Yes, sir.
And that stands for transmission cost of service.
Yes, sir.
And as you were explaining, that means that CPS Energy will be reimbursed by ERCOT for its expenditures on this project.
That is correct.
And then you mentioned in another slide, on slide 5, so we're responsible for the northern 24.5 miles of this project, and you're pegging the cost at $175 million.
Yes, sir.
And I think it might be good to, when you're looking into this, you come up with this phrase, postage stamp rate. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, sir. That's the T-cost rate.
Right. And what I thought you might do is explain that to our listeners. But would you summarize this process where we're spending the money and then being reimbursed for it? Because we spend it up front and then explain that to us, how we're reimbursed.
Yes, sir. So the process is ERCOT does not own any transmission systems. And so when ERCOT looks at the system as a whole, they're looking at the reliability of the entire system. And so they will, along with the utilities like us, will submit projects to ERCOT. ERCOT will approve them, and then it goes to the PUC for the CCN, which is the Certificate of Necessity. At that point, then the utilities or the owner of the transmission systems will build them. Once they're energized, then we will do a T-cost filing for reimbursement.
And have we ever encountered any difficulty with that? Is that pretty straightforward? Are expenses questioned, or we just present the bill and we get paid?
Do you want me to help and jump
Yeah,
in here a little
sure.
bit? Sure.
I mean,
So all of the transmission service providers throughout the state of Texas who build and operate transmission lines go through this process. So there's nothing unique about CPS Energy. However, on a periodic basis, utilities, transmission service providers will go before the Public Utility Commission and file either full or interim rate requests for the transmission costs that have been expended. And so that is under the governance of the Public Utility Commission. The Public Utility Commission staff will review all of the associated projects and expenses and determine their prudency and reasonableness. And that is a full process that does go before the PUCT. And so we have been filing proceedings for as long as we've been transmission service providers in the state, and we do that on a periodic basis.
Are we often, I mean, is it, the standard thing is to just present the bills, and if there enough detail in that sort of thing that we get paid pretty quickly? How does that work?
It's a robust process, so it isn't something that happens quickly. We do go through extensive reviews with staff. Oftentimes, this is hundreds, if not thousands, of pages of documents to support the necessity of the expenditure, as well as our design and execution, construction, et cetera. So I would be remiss if I tried to articulate to you that it's somewhat rubber stamp. It is not. It's a very detailed process, but we have very capable team members, both inside and outside the organization, in our transmission planning, our design, and then in our regulatory affairs that help guide those processes to ensure we get fair return when we go through those TCOS filings.
Are there examples, though, of where we presented cost and they were not accepted?
I would have to go back and look at prior filings, but as a course of if you study the PUCT processes for all of the transmission service providers throughout the state, there are times when the PUC or this PUC staff will question expenses, and that is absolutely under the jurisdiction of the PUC to do so. So we ensure that we work very closely through the regional planning group at ERCOT to work to plan these projects to ensure through that peer process that the need is there. And then we have very robust project management processes around engineering, design, planning, and execution of these projects. So it's as I mentioned, it's the same process that all of the transmission service providers in the state go through.
So somebody listening could say, well, we're going to spend this $175 million, but we're going to get reimbursed for the expenses. But we're going to pay, do they deduct that, this idea that the postage stamp rate, do they deduct that from what they pay us back?
So let me, thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. Let me make one clarifying comment about the costs that will come back to us. And then the postage stamp rate is a different construct. It is not tied directly to our TCOS filings. So when we file transmission cost of service expenses, and that's all transmission service providers throughout the state will file transmission cost of service expenses. We, as a load serving entity, effectively an entity that serves retail customers, we pay our fair share of that socialized transmission cost. And you pay it based on something called a load ratio share, which is effectively what percentage of the load of the state does your customers consume. And so as I mentioned to Trustee Mackey, it can vary year to year, but our load ratio share is somewhere between 6 and 7%. It fluctuates a bit. And so all of those costs, not only our costs, but all of the transmission costs that are filed and are part of that pool, we pay our 6 to 7% of the total costs. So I wouldn't want to mislead you and say that all of those $175 million are going to be recoverable and we pay our fair share. Relative to postage stamp rate, the postage stamp rate is a concept, and you can kind of think of it as the mail service, right? All of those transmission costs go into a large bucket, and that is effectively the transmission costs of the entire system. And through a formal process, a postage stamp rate, or effectively the amount of that cost to carry energy across the transmission system, is calculated and assessed out to all of the entities in the state. So effectively, it's a blended cost of using the transmission system. So kind of different constructs, but interrelated relative to total transmission cost.
That was a very impressive answer. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Medina.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I
I'm
have,
going to go around the
yeah,
go
go
around
ahead.
here.
That's
Vice Chair.
fine.
Yes, Mr. Medina.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you for the last several months, nearly a year, we've been discussing this project. You've done a tremendous job in keeping us updated on this project and all aspects of it, from the project, the budget, and T-cost, PUC, and all of this. Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the Howard to San Miguel routing and seating project.
We can have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, but we still have some questions.
Okay.
I don't have a question, it's more of a comment. I've been addressing, and thank you for also working with me, some concerns from District 3. No, yeah, 3, right?
4.
Council, District 4. So again, this is my area, so please make sure for the future events, and I think you did, and maybe I just wasn't in town, that I get invites to participate. So with that being said, I'm glad that we did the pre-invites to get people to participate. How long is I guess, the period of performance or the anticipated length of this project?
So the length of the project, it will end, we need to have this constructed by summer of '27.
Are we gonna have ongoing, town hall meetings for any concerns or just feedback through the different phases of this project?
So the feedback, if there's construction concerns, yes, there'll be feedback, but we're not gonna hold any more open houses.
Okay,
The
but
open houses are done prior to.
understood, but I am concerned with all the construction in San Antonio.
Mhm.
There might be, again, disrupting small businesses because of it. Again, that neighborhood has a lot of senior citizens. So if you could please be kind enough to make me aware if citizens are concerned with anything that has to do with delayed construction or anything that may impede any community member would be nice to know, so even if we won't have town hall meetings. And then the last thing is, I know it was a really good technical question that Mr. Steen asked, but I think it's important also for the audience to know that this was an area that was identified to up resiliency,
Yes.
not just to disrupt, and not just for us to spend money. It was really, again, a statewide effort to identify areas, specifically in the southeast, southwest area, that says, hey, we need a firm up capacity. So for me, even if we had to spend this out of our own pocket without getting recovery, I think it's important that we understand that we have a commitment to the community to make sure there's resiliency throughout the city of San Antonio. And so thank you again for the project, and thank you for answering my questions and considerations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Mayor, any questions?
Thanks for the presentation and for the pre-brief. As I shared in the pre-brief, I think it'd be helpful from a communication standpoint is also to help folks understand it's not, excuse me? Can you hear me? Is that better? Okay, thank you. What I shared during the pre-brief is it's to help folks understand why this is even necessary, right? What are the types of projects this facilitates? The resilience is important, but also, I mean, obviously in our part of town, we're looking at a lot of, and even right outside of it, the type of growth that this facilitates,
Mhm.
just so folks can understand. Thanks.
I want to ask you about easements and eminent domain. So
Yes.
do you have an estimate about how many individual property owners will have easements and how many of those still need to be negotiated?
There'll be 100 landowners that we'll be working with.
I'm sorry, say it again?
100 landowners, and we'll be getting easements with those 100.
Okay. All right. We have a motion on the table. Any last questions, comments? Roll call vote. Oh, I'm
Can
sorry.
I just clarify, Vice Chair Dr. Mackey, can we treat your motion as a motion to approve the resolution that's in the book? Okay. Vice Chair Dr. Mackey, your vote? Trustee Steen?
Yes.
Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chair Romero?
Yes.
Motion is unanimously passed.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gloucester, will you please take us into executive session?
Yes, at this time, the board is going to recess into an executive session to discuss matters that have been duly posted under several provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, including consultation concerning attorney-client matters under 551.071, personnel matters under 551.074, and to vote, deliberate, or take final action on competitive matters under Section 551.086. At the conclusion of the executive session, the board will reconvene in open session and continue the meeting. It is 2:19 PM.
will you bring us back into open session, please?
Executive session has concluded at 4:10 PM. I can confirm that there was no votes taken or action taken other than the posted items. And we have a quorum that is returned, but I will note that trustee Gonzalez has left and not returned to the dais.
Can you review the action items from this meeting, please?
I have that we will review the June 30th minutes, ensure that the correct names are on there, and then we will bring that back for the August meeting. And then for the Evolve presentation with ERP, there was 3. We will ensure that the report on subcontractors is provided to the board, and we'll also report back on the frequency of those reports and when they're coming. For the budget, trustee Esteen asked about the $42 million, which would be the portion of Evolve that is not ERP, and what is the breakdown of the $42 million. And then I had a update on the commitment to the community from the contractors involved.
Yes, was there anything else? And on the minutes, it was for the accuracy of the names. Yes. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned at 4:11.
You need a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So move.
Technically, you don't need a motion, but I will second that. All in favor of adjournment? You don't.
Yes, second.